So who are the top 10 forwards on planet Earth then? Overall, on the player power rankings, I've been counting down the top 10 in every position, and I've got to the end of the pack. That's 80 players that have been picked, a lot of really good ones as well on the sidelines looking in. But out of those 80, who are the ultimate 10, and what is the ultimate pack on planet Earth right now? That's what I'm going to do on this video. I want your thoughts, of course, in the comments, but my top 10 starts with loosehead prop Oxenchae, and I'll just reiterate what I said on the video where I counted down the top 10 loosehead props, where Oxenchae was number 1. Without Oxenchae, South Africa don't beat France in the quarter-final. Simple as that. Without Oxenchae, they don't beat England in the semi-final. That is how influential this guy is. And given that South Africa have pioneered this role of him off the bench, that is quite something. Will he take that role from Stephen Kitshoff as the starter? Possibly. Then again, they could just use him the way they've been using him. It's worked pretty well so far, hasn't it? And it doesn't really matter. South Africa have got props coming out of their ears. At number 9, Tadhg Beirne. I love this guy. He is relentless. He is robust. He's got an engine that goes on for days. I don't think there's anyone in world rugby works harder than Tadhg Beirne. His work rate is phenomenal. But he's got a brilliant rugby brain as well. He can do deft offloads, run intelligent lines, and he jackals as well as any open side as well. Some player. Number 8, Frans Malherbe, who has reminded the world and constantly reminded the world for years now that the scrum is, and always will be, hopefully, a massively important part of our sport that you cannot overlook. Just ask England. I do wish that in England we took the scrum a little bit more seriously, or at least enjoyed the theatre and the spectacle of it. There's a lot of people in rugby trying to depower it, trying to take the influence of the scrum away, but I don't think you're going to be able to as long as Frans Malherbe is on the pitch. He is just world class, hence he's at number 8. At number 7, to complete a South African front row already. This isn't a South African top 10 I'm counting down, by the way. There's just 3 South Africans in the first 4. Malcolm Marx at 7. What a specimen. Legit could be an international back row player. He does the nuts and bolts of a hooker as well. And he was, I mean, they managed to win the World Cup without him, but sorely missed, make no mistake. And the fact they managed to win the World Cup without Malcolm Marx says something. But as we've already seen, there's quite a few good South African forwards, aren't there? So they're not too shabby in that area. But there's very little to choose between Malcolm Marx and the number 6 position, Dan Sheehan. Some people would have it the other way around. That was the case when we went through the hookers. There was a lot of comments saying they'd have had Marx 1 and Sheehan 2. I just got feeling, see it the other way around. I think Dan Sheehan's ceiling is, he could be up there with the best players in the world. He could be the best player in the world in a few years' time. He's that good. The things he can do, no other player can. Another guy that could be a legit international back row player, but operating from hooker, is so valuable for Ireland. Into the top 5, and talk about all-rounders, look no further than Gregory Aldrit. Still really young, like 25, and Grand Slam to his name. He's got 2 European Cup titles to his name. He'll want to add the World Cup to that one. And if France go and do it in 4 years' time, Gregory Aldrit will have a massive role to play. He is just class. Never seems to make a mistake. Such an amazing skill set. And just a phenomenal rugby player. Just really gets and feels the game and makes massively influential contributions to the match. As does Charles Ollivon. And if France do win the World Cup in 4 years' time, you'd hope that he's going to be a key part of it as well. He has signed a new contract that takes him beyond 2027 in France, which is good news for them. Better than most locks as a line-out forward. As good as any open side at running support lines, and hits as hard as any blindside flanker. I absolutely love Charles Ollivon. So it is a massive compliment to the 3 players that are above him, and Pieter-Steph du Toit is one of them. Understandably, given, I mean, just look at the World Cup final. What a player! Everything that can be said about this guy has been said, but to have achieved what he's achieved, when a few years ago he could have played his last rugby game and had serious, potentially life-altering injuries, to come back and be operating at the level he's at is, I mean, it's like a Hollywood movie, isn't it? At number 2, Eben Etzebeth. It was really tough to call between number 1 and number 2. Could have gone either way. I mean, just a colossus. Absolute unit. And, yeah, just a freak. He's a freak. Absolute freak. Some of the interventions he had in the Rugby World Cup were amazing. That try he scored, was it against France in the quarter-final? He got yellow card. Did he get yellow carded? Then he came on and just went, right, I'm having this. And that ball carry. I'll just say it again. The guy is a freak. Number 1, Ardie Savea. I mean, World Player of the Year, rightly so. Explosive, rapid, skillful. Could play 7. You could play 12 and he'd do a great job. He's brilliant as a number 8 for New Zealand. I hope he's the New Zealand captain moving forward. He feels like the right guy to take that role on. We will see on that one, but all I can say is Ardie Savea is the best player on earth. And if you have a look at the top 10 then overall, there it is. What do you make of that? 5 South Africans in the top 10. Not really a surprise when you look at the names. It's interesting that only 4 nations are represented, and they are the 4 best teams in the world. Again, you've got to do your work up front if you want to lay any sort of platform. Doesn't matter how good your backs are if your pack is not good enough. And there you go, 5 in the top 10. South Africa win the World Cup. There is no coincidence in that. Tell me what you think. Leave your comments. If you're still listening as well, please hit subscribe on the channel if you haven't already, and spread the channel. I want to reach as many rugby fans as I can. I don't have a marketing budget, so I need you. So if I were putting those into an 8, look at that for a pack. Oh my goodness me. Yes, please. Would love to see it. I'd be scared for any team that had to play against that. Do you agree? Do you disagree? That would be my ultimate pack right now as we end the year in 2023. And if I were going to add a bench to it, then Malcolm Marx and Gregory Aldrit from the top 10 would be the 2 that would be on the bench. And I would add to that Cyril Baille, Owini Atonio, 2 Frenchmen, Brodie Retallick and Kwagga Smith. Oh, man. I want to see that team play. Oh, well, we can dream. It'll have to just be a fantasy for now. But thank you very much for watching the video. Appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, like I say, lots of ways you can do that. Tell a mate. Give the video a thumbs up, leave your comments, hit subscribe, and hey, into the backs in the videos coming ahead.